welcome to Candid Conversations. Another episode. I am your co-host, Canion, a.k.a. Coach Ken, a.k.a. the professor, a.k.a. the doctor. I got a lot of other AKAs too, but we won't mention them here. I am here with my co-host. Let me finish so I can introduce you.
Okay.
I'm with my co-host, my lovely wife, friend, confidant.
I am Grand Canion, simply net and or Wookie. AKA. Why I got to say AKA?
You gonna do it. You gotta do it right now.
I ain't got your, because you do it the way you do it don't make it the right way to do it. That's just your way to do it. Bam. Hello, good evening. How are you, sir?
I'm doing wonderful. You looking beautiful as usual.
Thank you. I want to give a shout out to our daughter, Brooke J, who beat my face back. This is her 10-minute face.
Her company is called Oh Brows.
Her Brows.
Oh, her brows.
Yes, her brows.
I like that. She dope.
Yes.
I'm so proud of her. I'm proud of both of our daughters. And we're going to talk about our daughters tonight.
Okay.
We're going to talk about our daughters when they were young and all of that. So the name of this show, y'all, is do you know the name of it, or do you want me to tell you the name?
I want you to tell me the name of it so I'll know the name of it. So we go ahead, because I don't know.
Husband before children, ? Okay.
So that's a question.
That's a question. We're going to talk about that. But before we get there, let's talk about, first off, let me say, listen, we want you to subscribe to the channel. We also want you to click the notification bell, and then whenever we drop a video, we'll let you know. By the way, Wookie.
Yes.
That video, part of the video that we did last night, go back and look at our podcast. Last week, I'm sorry, not last night. It went viral on TikTok.
Wow, my first viral video. Wow.
It went viral.
I'm excited. Thank you, guys.
It went viral on TikTok. So I'm super proud of you, super happy, all of those things. Okay.
You're good.
Also, we got a playlist on the YouTube channel we just instituted of just the podcast.
Okay. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
All right. So let's talk about last week first, and then we're going to get into the topic for today. Last week, we talked a lot about I interviewed you.
Yes.
And we talked a lot about, you cried a couple of times.
About once or twice.
And people resonated with that. They said that you were inspiration when you talked about getting off of public assistance and how I wasn't feeling it in first. I'm like, real? But how does it, because sometimes the internet ain't always kind. But when they give you some love like that, because I don't really give a fuck about me. They gonna say something about me every time. But anyway.
Okay, first off, I'm having a moment.
Hey, somebody told me they saw you beat up.
I'm beating
last
up now.
week. You had a hot flash.
Having one now.
Your wife
somebody
had a hot
told
flash.
me I need to get some black coal something. If y'all know what it is, somebody tell me. The black Kohasha, Koasha. It's black something, Koisha. I don't know what it is. But can y'all tell me, because I need her. But you were asking me, how does it feel? Okay, right here.
On that side.
On this side.
Yeah, in the middle too.
In the middle. I just love how you love me.
And the other side.
Listen, that's all I got. That's all I got.
You beating up. Okay,
that's all. It'll stop in a minute when it get ready. Okay. How did I feel? How does that make me feel?
Yeah.
Well, everybody loves to be celebrated. And so it makes me feel great. It is, someone saying that I inspire them inspires me. And so it makes me want to have 2 Slim Fast and 1 sensible meal at night, drink my water. That's what it make me want to do.
You know what? I cannot. And a lot of some young people who see that won't know what the hell that is. But our audience, they will know exactly what that is.
So I know on a serious note, thank you. You never know how people will receive you, and to know that I am an inspiration to some, and that I tickle some, and some people disagree with me, but it makes me feel good. Not the disagreeing part. Y'all ain't got to bombard me with some disagreement, but
Okay.
I mean, it's people's opinions.
All right. So look.
Makes me feel good.
Good. So let's jump into this week.
This
week's going to be a little bit different show.
Okay.
All right. So this week, there's a video that we're going to show you. And the video was Montel Jordan. And you performed for Montel Jordan once.
I did not perform for
well, I'm
him.
sorry.
I did a commercial with him. It was something for MTV for the MTV Awards.
Oh,
but
yeah.
It was a Geico commercial. This is how we
do it. Go ahead. You was in there, and you had a major role.
I did. I was the only one.
And you told me Montel was a cool guy.
He was cool. His wife was amazing as well.
Good. And that brings me to my point. So he did a video. And in this video, he talked about blended families and how children, he said, and here's what he said. He said a lot of relationships collapse, fall apart because when single mothers are dating, and you guys are going to see this video, are dating, they say things like, it was me and my children, and our children come before the relationship, and my children, it's me and us. And what he said was, he said that is a recipe, his words, not mine, a recipe for disaster. He said the children need to understand how to come under the authority of an adopted family, adopted structure, father, mother, if they're married. Now, we're not talking about them going together. And that the relationship of the mother and father comes before the children.
I love my wife, but my daughter come first. That's a recipe for disaster. We've seen single moms. You've been with your son. It was just y'all. And then when you find your husband, y'all come together. But it's like, yeah, but me and my son was here first. It's a recipe for disaster because that child does not know what it is like to come underneath an adoptive covering of a father and mother coming together to provide a safe space for them as children. In the blended family is kids need to know that mommy and me come first.
Facts.
Even if you were here first.
So there's a part there that I will disagree with you on.
Okay, give it to me.
Okay, you said if they're married, not if they're going together. And I feel like if you're in a committed relationship with someone that you feel like that there will be a marriage, it needs to start in a committed relationship. Because, and I say that because if Mr. Johnny been Mr. Johnny for the past 5 years, and he just been Mr. Johnny, and then we move into Mr. Johnny's house, and now I have rules with Mr. Johnny, I think that should be established when you realize that I'm in a committed relationship. As far as the head, because I feel like, it's just my opinion.
Okay.
You live or think married before you walk down the aisle or before you say, I do.
Okay.
And when you begin to think or feel that, that's when you should incorporate that rather than, okay, for 5 years he been Mr. Johnny and I've been doing what I want to do and now I'm moving into his house or we all moving in together and I got to live under his rules now. I ain't been living up under his rules. So I think it starts before the I do.
Okay, well, but this is where we disagree.
Okay.
I don't think that you bring anybody under the authority of a man. I know we did it because we were headed down that path, but I don't think you bring any child under the authority of another man unless they're under the authority of that man. And what I mean is he's the covering over that household. Now, because sometimes we might act like we get married, we might want to get married, but then a month into it, we not married. Or I decide, as long as that I decide, I'm not doing this. And so that's my point. And so, but I'm going to ask the audience what they think. But let me just say this. Here's the question. Do your kids, your children, come before your relationship? You're married. You've decided to marry this guy, single mothers. All right. It could be single fathers too. And when you marry the person, I believe from a biblical perspective that the husband and wife become one. Everybody else, mama, daddy, children, everybody else is second to that.
Okay.
Some people, when I saw that video, some people was like, oh, hell no, my kids come first. But here's the thing, and y'all don't have to agree with me, but here's the thing. The thing is that if you adopt that philosophy, then it's always the kids against the dad, the kids against the mom. But because it's new, and so before this day is over, I'm gonna show you how to make blended families work. I'm gonna
Well,
give
let
you
me
that.
ask you this question here.
Go ahead, ask me the question.
I cut you off. I apologize for that. Let me ask you this question. So you've been dating someone for 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
Okay. And they had no authority over the children. You move. So you're gonna that's what you're gonna explain later.
Okay.
Right. That's what you're gonna explain later.
So now that so let's do this. Now that y'all have seen the video, because by now they've seen the video because we showed it. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts based on what he said? Because Net, when you saw it, did you agree with what he said in terms of that it's a recipe for disaster?
Most definitely, 100%, 100%. I look as the man, as the leader of my home, not just me, everything that dwells within it. And so I agree with him 100%. I just don't agree with you that it starts with the I do.
Okay. Well, and that's fine. And me and you can we can disagree whether it starts. Yeah. But let's start from I do.
Okay.
We'll start from I do.
Okay.
So we both agree that it comes out. Now, some people listening to this might say, forget that. My children come first. My baby come first. And what he said in the video, and y'all heard what he said, even if the child was there before you, because obviously they were, but then when you and your spouse come together, y'all cleave as one.
Right.
Now, some people don't follow the Bible. I get that. But we talking practical now.
Right.
We ain't talking just Bible, but we talking practical now. And so here's the thing. And in story time, I'm going to tell them what you did because I adopted our 2 girls. I adopted, and they came under my authority. And we're going to talk about that in a second. But I want to ask you a question. Why is it that many women are so resistant to that idea? I'm talking about marrying the person, not talking about Joe Blow. I'm talking about somebody who is committed and said, you're going to be my wife. This is my family. I'm going to provide, protect. I'm going to do all of those things.
They do that to protect the kids. A lot of times when there is a blended family, children feel like that a mother picks the husband over them. And so she does that to protect them. I think it's for protection.
Okay.
To make them feel safe. And but what people don't realize, when you do that, that causes the biggest division, because the child is able to come in through that separation and push you further apart or play you both against each other.
Right.
And so you have to really be careful with that. But I think they do it as just to protect their child.
Right. And it does create a situation where a man says, all right, because I'm going to be honest. One of the things that I had said, just real talk, and I've told you this,
yes,
that I would never marry a woman with children. I would never marry a woman with children. I said it. And if I be completely honest, that was one of the sticking points why I didn't want to get married sooner. Because I had always thought of, my father, I remember my sister, while she was living, and my father, they didn't get along. My mother had a daughter before they got married. And it was so contentious, even to the day he died. And he tried to make amends, but it's like she could never get past it. So I didn't want that.
Mm-hmm.
But it was the way you handled it. You did something that I'm going to tell the people what you did that made me change my whole viewpoint on blended families. And because the girls were young.
Mm-hmm.
When I came into your life, the girl, Brittany was what, four?
And Brooke was like
and Brooke
3
was
months
6.
old.
No. Yeah, 3 months old.
About 3 or 4 months
3
old.
months old.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were young children. But what made you say, I'm going to give you access to my children? And that took a minute, but what even made you say, I'm going to give you access to my children?
Well, first of all, I trusted you. That's number one.
Right.
I trusted you with me. I'd seen
Waldo
you.
didn't trust me with you.
No, he did not, because he felt your vibe as a man. He knew you was a woof woman.
You can't even bark, right? You can't even.
I was trying to make it sound, but it sounds
one of our
sick.
producers in here looking like, what the hell is that she's talking
He knew
about?
you were a dog. But I trusted you. You know, I had watched you around the kids. You know, I watched your interaction with them. And I remember one day, one of the things that I grew up in a blended family as well.
Okay.
And one thing I never liked about my stepfather as a kid is that he was a tattletale.
He was a snitch.
Kid likes a
snitching
tattletale.
ass.
And he had the mindset that these are not my kids. I'm not going to tell them what to do. Or I can't tell them what to do. I don't know why he adopted that at that time. And so when we did things, he would tell our mom.
He would snitch on y'all.
When he told on us, we didn't like him because he was a tattletale. Think about it. As a kid, 7, 8, 9 years old, that's what you hate most is a snitch.
Well,
We didn't call
them
them we didn't call them snitches back then. We called them tattletales. And that's what you hate the most, and that's what he was to us. And so we came in not respecting him because he was a tattletale.
Okay.
And so I remember the kids, I don't know what they did. One of them did something.
Right.
And you said, you need to tell them the da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I said, Ken, if they're ever going to respect you, you have to tell them. You remember that?
I do remember that. And
you have to tell them.
I didn't have
if you
any
want their
problem
respect.
telling them. I just, I was a little reserved because, I grew up in a family where you tell the kid what they're doing wrong. But because I had that stigma in my head and I had seen that with my sister, I was like, you don't want to say it because that might create more dissension. But I realized something. I realized a child respects you for who you are, but you have to be firm about that too.
Yes.
And so in this story time, the whole thing that I got from that was you told me, you said, if you're going to earn their respect, if they're going to listen to you, then it has to be your voice. But you allowed it though, because I had their best interest. A lot of women don't allow you, well, you can't discipline my child or you. And then the child grows up, and I see it all the time. Then the child grows up, they don't respect anything. They mouth is reckless. Everything I see.
One thing we did, if we ever disagreed on what was done or said, we never, ever, ever discussed it in front of the kids.
We did.
Never, ever, ever. If it was something that you didn't agree with me or vice versa, we've to this day they've never seen us have an argument.
They've seen us disagree.
Well, yeah, disagree. They've never seen
argue.
us argue or fuss with each other, and so I think that was a good sticking point for us. That was a good, and I wasn't trying to see if I could trust you with it. I already did, so it was easy for me to give you that.
And then when I decided, and I want to tell everybody listening to me, when I decided I wanted to adopt these two girls as my own, because and this is important to me, when I decided that I was going to adopt them, they would be mine, because I banished the thought that, you know what, that they weren't my biological children, but they were my children.
Mm-hmm.
I had raised them. I had nurtured them. I taught them everything that they knew. And I remember when I decided, wow, maybe these are the children that I'm supposed to have. And I've adopted that for the last, one of them's 40 years old now. So
I wanted to ask you though, how did you change your mindset? Because you and I actually had that discussion one time when you said, I don't know, because I've always said that, I didn't want to date anybody with kids. So how did you switch from this being that was your thing, to not just maybe I could, to taking ownership of like us?
I think I remember one day when Brittany, our oldest daughter, I remember Brittany was like, you want me to bring you something, Pop Daddy? Like, I don't know if it was food or something. She was so adamant about making sure that I had whatever it was, whether it's food or a gift, I don't know what it was. But when I saw her fighting for me like that, I mean, I don't even remember what it was, but when I saw her fighting for me, I'm like, wow, this is a little kid. This is a little kid fighting for me like that. I just decided that, I wanted to fight for them like that.
Oh, wow.
And so I don't think I've ever told you that
Never.
story. It actually just came to me. It came back up to me how I remembered that. And you know how giving she was. She used to be like, the trees can't. If we cut down all of the trees, we won't have any oxygen. I remember that. I remember she used to say that. I was like, baby, we'll have some oxygen. We're not going to cut down all of the trees.
She did.
And she just started crying. Well, Pop Daddy, if we cut the trees down, I was like, I'm going to make sure you can breathe.
We would have to turn the radio down when we went by cemeteries so we could pray for the souls. And
Yeah. So, but I wanted to do something.
Okay.
I wrote up a list for anybody in a blended family.
Okay.
I wrote up 5 things to help you be successful in a blended family. I
Okay.
did that.
Okay.
So I want to give some teaching
number one.
tonight.
Let's give us number one.
I wrote it down. So here we go. All right. Number 1, if you want a blended family to work, you have to focus on the marriage first.
Ooh, that's good. How do you do that when you're bringing people together, not just the couple, but you're bringing other people together? How do you do that?
Here's why. Because it's just like the house we live in. If the foundation is weak, the house going to be off kilter. See, the foundation of a blended family is the marriage.
Okay.
So if we never work on the marriage, if we never create a united front, if we never work on communicating with each other, if we never work on conflict resolution, then that is what the children see.
Okay.
And so what I tell people is, number 1, focus on the relationship. Make sure the relationship, the marriage is strong. And if the marriage is strong, then the rest of it that comes underneath that I'm going to give you will be far easier. And because children are very intuitive. When they see a united front and they can't penetrate the united front.
That is so true.
Because by nature, children are, a little manipulative. They are. They're a kid. But when the front says, nah, we ain't going to do that. We've decided as a team, it's better that blank. Okay. And that's what I would say. Okay. That's number 1.
Okay, give us number 2.
Number 2, create a discipline and punishment system together.
Ooh, how do you do that when, I know for us, that was not easy.
Right.
Because
you were a little soft.
Because of the way that we were raised.
Right.
You brought your background and I brought my background, and a lot of times it was like,
and then that's why you communicate through it. Because all right, you say, I'm gonna fall on the sword for this right here. But okay, I'll give on this right here.
Okay.
Now maybe we can go in the middle on this. And what happens is just like everything else. It's compromise.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wrote this down right here. I wrote this down. Build household rules. Use your shared values as the foundation for these rules.
Okay.
Now, that is the reason why, listen, I get it. I come from a different background than you.
Right.
All right. Ray Canion, he may have given me more leeway because I earned it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I always came in, I did what I was, but I have to go on my experience. Well, you had an experience too.
Mm-hmm.
So what we have to do is, that's why communicating why we feel what we do. See, this is where people get it twisted.
Mm-hmm.
In relationships, they just say, I don't think you need to let them go out like that. Or they can stay out late. But we never talk about why.
Why?
We never talk about why you feel that way. What has brought you to this point? Because I need to understand, and I want you to understand my why. Your why is always more important than your how or what.
Okay. I like that.
Okay?
Your why is always important.
More important.
Is more important than your how or what. I like
your
that.
why is the reason why we do it.
Okay. What's number 3?
Number 3, give each child individual attention.
Ooh, I love that.
Each child has to get, each parent is in a relationship with the other person's children. So the reason why I have a relationship with the girls like I do, why we so tight, is because I made it my business to have a relationship with each one of them separate from you. Now, you are the linchpin of it, but they come to me and talk about things that you ain't never heard.
That is so true.
And the reason you ain't never heard it, you never will.
That makes me so angry. Why don't you come to your mother? Why do you have to come to your father?
That's because they know I'm going to react different than you. I mean, they know you're going to be all emotional about the shit.
Listen.
You're going to be emotional and you're going to be like, well, and then I'm going to be like, and all I'm going to do is ask them, okay, well, why you feel that way? And that's the difference. So it's important to work on developing the relationship, even if the child doesn't want it at first, because a lot of children might say, well, you ain't my daddy, or you ain't this right here. And that's why we still have to work on it.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay, that was number
3.
3. Number 4.
Number 4, communicate openly. And here's what it is.
Explain that.
Talk about expectations, talk about feelings, needs, and boundaries.
You mean with the kids?
With the kids.
Yes, okay.
Okay. Here's my expectation of you. I expect you to get up and clean up. All right, this is the rules that we've established. I expect that from you. All right.
Should that conversation be had just with the bonus parent and the child, or as a group?
It needs to be had first as the couple.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then as the couple with the united front, you talk to the children.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Everything is united.
Okay.
Everything is united.
Okay. I like that. And number 5?
And last thing, but not least, is be patient. Give the family time to adjust, especially if the households are combined.
I love that.
Be patient.
You say be patient, but how are you patient? What does patience look like in a situation like that?
Patience look like that we're married, right? We ain't going nowhere. Patience looks like
with the kids. How does that?
It looks like we keep working on it. If something doesn't work, we try something different. It works. See, that's the thing. We don't come with a manual on how to raise this particular child. And I always tell people this, and I want y'all to listen. You always treat children equally. You treat them equally, but you don't treat them the same.
Ooh, you got to explain that. You always treat children equally, but not the same. Please
equally
explain.
Means, I give the same leeway to you. If I'm going to give $10 to one, I'm going to give $10 to both. Treating them equally, right? I mean, I'm going to treat them equally. But when it comes to motivation, some children I have to talk to softly, even with our kids. Mm-hmm. I can talk to Brittany and be like, you need to get yourself in gear. You need to get your shit right and go after it. Well, with Brooke, I don't take that role. I'm going to be a little more, Let's talk about what you want. Here's why. And so my approach is very different. I treat them both equal, but I treat them based on their personality and how they grasp it.
That's so good. One thing, I love your intelligence. It's like really, really sexy to me, and I feel like really turned on right now.
Okay.
Like I like that. I like that. I like that.
Are you
so
moist?
That was good.
I'm not talking about on the head. I'm not talking about your hot flashes.
For real, Kenny. Didn't you read where my students are watching with their parents?
All right. I just want to say this.
You should have checked the PCC for that before you said that.
PCC, this show is sponsored by PCC, the Pocket Communication Coach, because we believe that when you have to say it, but you just don't know how. Listen, the Pocket Communication Coach is an AI product that I created. I started on it 9 months ago now. It is growing. Y'all, it is amazing. So if you're interested in learning how to communicate better, more effectively, especially in blended families, pick up the Pocket Communication Coach. It'll tell you how to talk to your kids. It'll tell you how to talk to your spouse, questions to ask. It's all inclusive. Pocket Communication Coach. When you have to say it, but you just don't know how. All right, baby. You know what we got now.
Okay, come on. We did the...
All right, we're going to end it.
We're going to do that one tonight. We did the original last week. We'll do the...
So we're going sex
Let's
tonight.
talk about... Baby.
We're going sex, y'all.
You
our version
and me.
of our game, Moment of Truth.
This
is the sex version, sex edition.
And this is the original. It's a relationship card game.
All right, baby.
Do a little ding.
All right. Pick a card, and
Any
I'm
card.
I'm gonna pick a card.
Okay.
Any card. Are you gonna read them? Or am I gonna read them? You read them last week. Pick a couple, and let me go back at them. Okay. I'm reading it to you.
Okay, my bad.
I'm reading it to you.
I think you read them
Here we
every
go.
week.
All right. You read them last week.
Okay, darling.
Okay.
Okay, Hunty.
Oh. Okay. Here you going. Your best friend needs to crash for the weekend, but you're out of town. However, your boo is at home. You would say, A, no, not appropriate. B, hell no. C, yes, no problem. I trust all parties involved. Or D, maybe it depends on which friend it is.
I started sweating again. What was B? Hell no.
You wouldn't let one of your friends stay over? I mean, you wouldn't even let one of your friends stay over.
I ain't here.
No, you out of town.
They don't want to stay here.
But then what if they needed a place to stay?
What was B? Hell no.
What would you guys say? You out of town, your friend. No, not appropriate. Hell no. It's okay. You trust all parties involved. Or maybe depends on what friend it is. So, Ned, you know why it would be if Leslie.
Leslie's not a friend. Leslie's my sister.
Okay.
Like Leslie is Leslie. Leslie does not count.
So you would. It depends on
Leslie
who
don't
it is.
count. Leslie don't count. Leslie does not count. Linnell is not staying here. I love Linnell. She ain't gonna want to stay here.
Okay. All right.
That's not, I wouldn't stay at her house. Kim, though,
okay.
what about you? What would be your answer?
If my partner, if Big P wanted to stay here, I don't care.
But P don't count. You can't use
He
P.
don't count.
You can't use P. You cannot use P.
I
P
mean,
you can't
if
use
Marvin
P.
wanted to stay here, I wouldn't. If Joey wanted to stay here, I wouldn't. I'm good. See, that's the difference. I'm good. I wouldn't care. He said, hell no.
It still be for me.
Okay, I got one more for you.
I don't believe that, but I'm gonna let you have that
I
answer.
would.
Okay, all right.
I see you getting moist around your lips.
I am around my forehead, and I ain't
And
nothing
you
going on with my lip.
around that big little tribe.
Come on.
All right.
Job
How
time.
many times a week do you masturbate? A, 1 to 2. B, 3 to 4. C, over 4. Hell. Or D, none.
On a regular is D.
On a regular.
Like,
when I'm out of town,
I
you don't strum your guitar.
I be thinking about it, but then I get tired. I be like, you know what? I don't need, you know, sometimes, you know, it crossed my mind, but it be floating. It don't stay there.
Okay.
What about you, sir?
Oh, let me see. I mean, I'll be out of town, you know, away from you. So I'll probably say, now that the hub closed now.
What's the hub?
Porn hub. They done put some restrictions on it. They done put some restrictions on the hub. Yeah, I gotta go to Old Faithful. I gotta go to Old Faithful now. Hey, you ready, buddy?
You
ready
just said now that the hub is. I'm like, what is that? They closed it down.
It got restrictions on the hub now. One of my partners hit me up and said, "Yo, man, what's
Your
the
partner
deal with
told you.
Oh, yeah. My partner told me. I mean, I would have eventually found out on my own. I mean, I'm sure. I don't know, baby, you know, 1 to 2. Not even, you know, 1, you know, but now that the hub gone, you know, probably once a day, you know, a couple
So,
times
audience,
a month.
what do you think? What were those again?
How many, about the masturbation.
Yeah, that was.
How many times?
That stopped Coach Ken. He was like, but he never did answer it, y'all. Y'all noticed that. He never did give an answer.
Probably a couple times a month. I mean, you know, once or twice a month, maybe, you know.
Okay.
But, I mean, I ain't going to sit here and lie. And be like, nope, I never grabbed Mike Johnson ever.
I just don't have, I don't have the desire or the energy. I appreciate you always.
I tried to get you.
Yeah.
I tried to get you involved in all that.
What you mean?
Remember I tried to get
you.
No.
That ain't, no, I don't.
Not on your own. Because remember how you told me.
Hey, thank you guys for coming on for tonight. I don't remember, and I don't want you to tell me now. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. We're the Grand Canyons. I hope you guys have a happy Thursday night.
I'll tell y'all later.
I don't know what.
We did some relationship coaching, and she told one person, you got to get in touch with yourself.
Listen. Thank you guys for joining us tonight.
All right, y'all. We out. We the Grand Canyons, y'all.
Happy Thursday.
As always, we are out.